Madden holiday is here and we will play all night. Calling sick and sound sincere, in tackles will delight. The fridge is packed with drink and meat, the taste of victory sure is sweet.
Well, this was an aggravating week for the most part, even though I wound up going 4-2. I mean, I hit on Bama over LSU, Utah State over Nevada. And then on the pro side, obviously, I got Denver and Philadelphia right. We'll get more on them later. And of course, I missed on FSU Clemson. That game was really more of a pick 'em. And, watching wise, I only saw like the first quarter of Utah State Nevada. I thought that was going to be the game that was maybe the most interesting. I couldn't watch the FSU Clemson game because I don't have the ACC network. Yeah, I'm still angry about that stupid streaming service thing. Anyway, the Utah State Nevada game turned into a blowout pretty quickly, so stopped watching that. I just kind of started dinking around. Overall, I'd say I guess the two big games of the weekend were BYU taking on Texas Tech and Indiana taking on Penn State. The former of those was a blowout, and the latter was a nail-biter. That last touchdown Indiana scored in the last seconds, I think Joe Klatt threw his poor voice out. I mean, obviously I expect Gus Johnson to be the boisterous one. But yeah, Klatt was his voice was cracking or doing something it doesn't normally do. Now, it is nice that Indiana won, but I'd say the bigger concern there is that they blew a sizable lead in the fourth quarter and were in that position to begin with. As for the BYU Texas Tech game, I mean, there's still a chance those two could see each other again in the Big 12 championship game, but the Cougars were kind of in this spot last year as well. And if you recall, they lost, I think it was 2 of their last 3 games, and that's what allowed Arizona State to zip right by them and into the Big 12 championship game. And thus they wound up making the college football playoff, where a few weeks earlier it looked like BYU was a surefire lock. So yeah, that can certainly change things when you lose. I mean, look at the ACC. Going into the weekend, Louisville and Virginia were the 2 leading candidates to be in the championship game. However, they both lost, and while Virginia now still has more of a chance than Louisville does, it's allowed Miami to kind of be catapulted back into the picture as well. So, again, you see how much things can even change in just a week in college football. Oh, and of course, I guess I would be remiss if I didn't mention Oregon and Iowa playing a really close game in some very bad rain. Oregon pulled that out in the last second, even though it looked like we were due for another Hawkeye upset. Moving on to the NFL, like I said, I got Denver and Las Vegas correct, and then missed on Pittsburgh and Los Angeles. I wasn't writing this down when the Monday night game had been played, so that was at least it was written before that, and it was what I'm trying to say there. But yeah, that game also kind of turned out to not really be very entertaining. The Pittsburgh Los Angeles Chargers game, I stopped watching that around 5-3. I checked back after like an hour, and the score was 22-3. So yeah, it looks like the Steelers have entered another midseason swoon again. Gee, I wonder if I could have seen that happening. Anyway, the Thursday night game between Denver and Las Vegas was pretty terrible. I watched the Grossi Perna stream on that one, and that helped make the game a little bit more tolerable. The Monday night game, I watched Tom Grossi's stream, and it was entertaining, but the sync was like way off. Apparently Amazon has the better streaming sync with those things, but I tried watching on ESPN. I still have cable, and it was like almost 2 plays and it off. So that's how bad it was, the discrepancy there. And I switched over to the ESPN app where it was better, but still pretty noticeable. Like, I'd say it was more like a play and a half differential between stream and the game broadcast. But yeah, it's not like that game was really much to write home about either. In the overall picture, the Bears had a big comeback victory over the Giants that resulted in Brian Daboll getting fired. I think the Giants here need an established head coach to take over. Someone with a coaching past, basically. Don't bring in the hot coordinator. I don't think that's what you need right now. You had the hot coordinator in Brian Daboll, and look how that turned out. So, again, I think you need to look into people with previous head coaching experience. I know some people, that probably means maybe Bill Belichick or Mike Tomlin or Matt LaFleur. But, I think even a Mike McCarthy could probably help bring things up just a little bit there. Again, the only exception I would make in terms of coordinators is someone like Brian Flores, who again has experience as a head coach, if you were interested. In other games, the Lions blew out the Commanders. The Jets won their second game in a row. The Colts had a big OT win over the Falcons in Germany. Jonathan Taylor pretty much cementing his case as an MVP candidate in that one. And, of course, the Ravens beat the Vikings by completely dominating the second half. So, Deathmate lives once more. All hail Deathmate. All hail Deathmate. All hail Deathmate.
All hail Deathmate. All hail Deathmate. All hail Deathmate. All hail Deathmate. All hail Deathmate. All hail Deathmate. All hail Deathmate. All hail Deathmate. All hail Deathmate. All hail Deathmate.
Anyway, the games we're covering this week are Texas versus Georgia, Eastern Michigan versus Ball State, and Georgia Tech versus Boston College. Then on the NFL side, we have Tampa Bay versus Buffalo, Seattle versus the Los Angeles Rams, and Houston versus Tennessee. Alright, we'll start covering them right after the break.
Tom the Turkey for Thanksgiving is handmade fresh in your Carvel store by your Carvel dealer in a patented Carvel no-air pump ice cream machine. Nowhere else can you buy that kind of ice cream, folks. Please visit your Carvel dealer for Thanksgiving.
And use your Carvel coupons for savings on Carvel ice cream products like Tom the Turkey. They're available at participating stores.
Thank you and have a great holiday.
Over the years, I've gotten some wonderful presents, but here's one of the best. It's Epilay Trio. Keeps my legs smooth and silky for weeks. No more razor nicks, cuts, or scratches. Epilay Trio has 3 speeds for fine, medium, or coarse hair. Just circle it on your leg, and it removes hair from the root. For smooth legs for weeks, use Epilay Trio. It's one of my favorite presents. In fact, it's a present I bought for myself.
Available exclusively at JCPenney.
Dear Moms and Dads, you've probably been driving all around looking for the Fisher-Price Magic Scan checkout counter. Well, you'll find it at a great price and at a super place, Child World, where right now Fisher-Price Magic Scan checkout counter is just $26.99. It comes with the price scanner, scale, and register. Everything I need to place store, and all of the swell price at Child World. So come to Child World, where you'll discover how much less toys can cost, and how many more you can buy.
Our first game is Texas versus Georgia, and after a fairly rough start to the season, it seems the Longhorns have finally turned a corner, and Arch Manning is starting to come into form. That being said, while the offense is vastly improved, unfortunately I think the defense has really stagnated and given up far too many points to be truly comfortable with Texas right now. Now, Georgia really needs a win if they're going to stay in the SEC championship game picture. They trail both Alabama and Texas A&M, and if they can beat Texas and have Texas beat at Texas A&M, then that would technically put them in, or if Alabama were to stumble. But again, they need for something like that to happen. Now, the Bulldogs have dodged some bullets in recent weeks with very close victories over the likes of Auburn, Ole Miss, and Florida. But they did manage to beat Mississippi State by 20 points last week, so maybe things have finally stabilized there. Overall, the Bulldogs have fewer questions than Texas are right now. Overall, Georgia has fewer questions than Texas does right now. Their defense is playing much more solid. They're definitely still in the flow of everything. Texas is playing better, but overall, I think Georgia's the better team here. I think it's going to be close, and then Georgia will pull away in the fourth quarter to win. So, yeah, I like the Bulldogs here.
Ma, growing up, I thought you were training me to be a marathon runner. You'd send me 10 blocks for the crustiest bread.
6.
8 blocks for the freshest chicken.
5.
And miles for fresh fruit. Now I go to Waldbaum's where I get all that good stuff in one place.
Good. You like Waldbaum so much? Run and get me some ricotta. Huh?
There's more to Waldbaum's than what's on our shelves. Come share our values.
No matter what, it's a Geo. Geo. It's a fuel-injected front-wheel drive hatchback. Geo. It's the highest mileage in America. It's some of the lowest prices anywhere. Give us a call. Sold and serviced by select Chevrolet dealers.
No matter what.
Champagne is now being served on the after deck. Lobster is now being served on the promenade deck. Colombian coffee is now being served in the starboard side lounge.
No wonder so many people's preferences lean toward 100% Colombian coffee. It's the richest coffee in the world. Handpicked by Juan Valdez.
Our next game is Eastern Michigan taking on Ball State, and when I initially selected this game, these two were technically in contention for the MAC championship. The conference is having kind of an off year, but now these two are closer to the bottom of the standings. The Eagles of Eastern Michigan are 3-7 on the season. Their offense is led by quarterback Noah Kim, who can put up some decent pass numbers at times. That being said, the defense is completely untrustworthy and has given up a lot of points. Now, Ball State is playing a little bit better as they are 4-5 on the season, 2-3 in the conference standings. So they are playing slightly better football. Quarterback Kyle Kelly, he's transferred in, and he's putting up some really good numbers for the Cardinals, who, if you recall, last year were like the lowest-ranked team on College Football 25. This year, they've definitely managed to upgrade and turn things around just a little bit. I mean, overall, Ball State is just playing consistently better football at this point. They're going to win this game rather handily. And yeah, I should probably start tackling like more of the MAC and Conference USA teams earlier in the season. And again, this late in the game, obviously everyone turns their attention to the big boys, and that's kind of for a reason. But still, like I said, this game should be at least fairly entertaining, and like I said, I like the Cardinals here.
Dermatologists see thousands of cases of painfully dry skin a year, but the only one that counts is yours.
Skin Science Update from Vaseline Intensive Care.
I'm Joan London, and this is the latest physician's desk reference for non-prescription drugs. And in it is the extra-strength formula developed by Vaseline Intensive Care Research for treating severely dry skin. The thousands who've seen it work know it's serious medicine.
Extra strength formula. From intensive research comes intensive care.
Thank you, Doctor.
I'm not a real doctor, but if I were, I'd recommend ligament for occasional muscle pain.
Still going. Nothing outlasts the Energizer. They keep going and going.
Mothers have learned from countless doctors and pharmacists to take care of coughs with Robitussin. And they've taken this advice home. Robitussin recommended by Dr. Mom. Ask your doctor or pharmacist.
You're about to see a side of Ranger you never expected. Now, all that famous Ford Ranger muscle comes in a body no one can resist. Introducing the 93 Ford Ranger. Ford Trust, the best ever rest. Ranger is how tough looks today.
Our third game is Georgia Tech taking on Boston College, and thanks to the shenanigans of last week, Georgia Tech is now back into ACC title contention. Dual-threat quarterback Haynes King has led a very impressive turnaround as he's able to provide both a high-powered rushing and throwing attack. The Yellow Jackets are definitely a gritty team that can grind things out at times. If they do have one glaring flaw, is that their defense can give up some really big numbers at a lot of times. Not to mention, this game is going to be held in Boston, so they're after to play in really cold weather, which could be an asset for the Eagles, but they only have one win overall and completely winless in the ACC. I'm surprised Bill O'Brien hasn't even been fired at this point. Really, the Eagles' only offensive weapon of note is running back Turbo Richard, and that's because you get to say the name Turbo Richard. The Eagles' defense is just not good, and like I said, this game is in Boston, so the weather could play a bit of a factor, but it probably isn't. I expect Georgia Tech to win this one rather handily. It's probably going to be a big blowout. I think the Yellow Jackets will probably solidify their place in the ACC championship game with a victory here.
These long-distance prices are from a study of phone usage undertaken not by AT&T or MCI, but by a totally independent consumer organization. Their exhaustive study compares apples to apples and oranges to oranges. It concludes that with the right phone service, consumers can see significant savings. And we agree. Call MCI and we'll send you the complete study. Or call AT&T and ask if they will.
When a cop is executed,
A friend of mine was killed. A friend of ours.
by brothers in crime,
Nothing's gonna get in our way.
will the need for revenge
I can have your badges for this.
You can have mine right now.
turn peacekeepers into killers?
I don't want to die.
Or will they become the next target? The Hat Squad, Wednesday.
Friday the 13th, those designing women are getting lucky in Vegas. And Anthony's getting lucky too. Then, who stole the last page of Bob's new comic book? It's Bob like I've never seen him before. It'd be bad luck to miss it.
Moving on to the NFL, we start off with Tampa Bay taking on Buffalo, two teams that are coming off blowout losses. I mean, at least the Bucs lost to a pretty good team in the Patriots last week. They also play in a mediocre division, so the loss didn't affect them that much. I think the main problem is that Tampa Bay is still pretty riddled with injuries, and it's extended to the defense, which has been giving up some very weird, big-time plays with some big numbers that just doesn't seem characteristic of a Todd Bowles defense. Now, the Bills' loss to the Dolphins maybe could just be chalked up to maybe the preceding week they had a hangover from that big victory over the Chiefs. They just gave up way too many turnovers. I know Dalton Kincaid has an injured hamstring. Cook is also getting banged up. And the defense is just too unpredictable at this point, so it's really hard to get fully behind the Bills. Now, Buffalo is going to play at home, so much like the previous game we were talking about, I think the weather is going to be a factor. And I think they've wised up after that loss to Miami, so I think they're going to pull away in the second half. This thing should be close at first, but they'll eventually pull out all the stops, and the Bills will probably win this one. So, yeah, I like Buffalo here.
What do you mean you can't go to the party? Kim's in a bad mood. She has her period. Maybe you should stay home, Trudy.
If you've had it with the nonsense, use Body Sense with OB. OBs have body sense because they're really sensitive in the way you use them, the way they fit, and how they work. OB with Body Sense means you can forget all the nonsense.
All right.
OB tampons. Body Sense, not nonsense.
Very fine. Juice it up. Dentists warn, the #1 dental problem isn't cavities. It isn't tartar. It's plaque. Building up on your teeth every day. And no matter how much you brush, you don't get enough plaque off your teeth, especially in hard-to-reach places. The problem is plaque. The solution is Plaques. Rinse with Plaques before brushing, and you can remove 300% more plaque than brushing alone. Plaques, original flavor and soft mint, removes 300% more plaque than brushing alone.
Our next matchup is Seattle taking on the Los Angeles Rams in a game to decide who controls the NFC West for maybe the next 2 weeks or so. Now, the Seahawks are definitely firing on all cylinders after blowout victories over both Washington and Arizona. The defense has stepped up at just the right time to make some very big plays and keep their opponents down. And Sam Darnold continues to have a very high success rate throwing the ball. Now, while Seattle does have a very vaunted running attack, I do think that could be thwarted or hampered by the Rams' defense, as they're pretty good against the run. Now, the Rams did avenge a loss earlier this season to the 49ers last week, and Matthew Stafford is starting to put up MVP-level numbers again, even with Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams being pretty banged up. If there's a problem in all this, is I think the Rams have started to get away from their running attack, which is not what they want to do at this point. It's still very much a strong suit, and I think that could really help take some of the pressure off Stafford so he doesn't have to make some big plays. I mean, again, the Rams have struggled against some of the big-time teams they've faced this season. Case in point, that earlier mentioned loss to San Francisco and, of course, the blown lead against the Eagles. Likewise, the Rams famously don't seem to have much of a home field advantage. There's going to be a lot of Seattle fans here, and these two teams traditionally play each other pretty tough. So, overall, I do think this is going to be a really hard-fought game. The team that makes the most mistakes is probably going to be the one that loses. And again, sometimes just strange things tend to happen. Overall, I actually think Seattle is playing slightly better football. I trust their defense a little bit more than the Rams right now. Again, the Rams can be so unpredictable sometimes. They could give up 10 points. They could give up, 40 points, and then just be kind of confusing. So, again, I have a bit more faith in Seattle, so I'm going to pick the Seahawks to win this one. It's going to be close, but I like Seattle here.
This Friday, in darkened theaters across America, prepare to experience the most terrifying love story ever told.
I am Dracula.
I will be what you love, see what you see, love what you love.
Bram Stoker's Dracula, a Francis Ford Coppola film, rated R.
A quick reminder, Lubriderm lotion restores lost moisture to heal your dry skin and protect it. Remember, the one created for dermatologists is the one that heals and protects. Lubriderm. See you later, alligator.
Stress. In my world, it's everywhere. Stress gives me a headache, and sometimes my stomach gets upset. I'm just relieved there's Tylenol Headache Plus.
New Tylenol Headache Plus, the first medicine with Tylenol pain reliever for stress headaches, plus antacid for stomach upset.
It can't take the stress out of my life, but it can help my head and stomach feel better.
New Tylenol Headache Plus.
It's every adoptive parent's nightmare. Not only is your child troubled, even violent, but the adoption agency knew and didn't tell you.
I asked for her medical records, and the social worker told me there were none available.
It happened to this couple. It's all perfectly legal, and it could happen to you. We'll explain on Eye on America tomorrow on the CBS Evening News.
My grandma says growing up in Brooklyn is much easier than growing up in the old country, but she never had to do long division.
Return to a special place Saturday on Brooklyn Bridge.
Our final matchup is Houston taking on Tennessee, and I kind of thought that the Texans would have turned the corner and solidified things at this point, and yeah, they really haven't. I mean, they have had some big victories. They won one without C.J. Stroud at quarterback over Jacksonville last week. The problem is that Houston just doesn't really seem to have much in the way of offensive punch right now. They don't really have a run game. I mean, Nick Chubb and Joe Mixon have not really been involved at all. Their only wide receiver of note is Nico Collins. Schultz is a good tight end, but and can't necessarily put all my faith in him. I don't know if C.J. Stroud is going to be back right now, so yeah, the Texans have a lot of problems. Now, Tennessee is pretty much in the exact same place they've been in all season. They did play pretty well against the Chargers a couple weeks ago. They are running the ball a lot more, which is something I said they needed to do. And they did play well against Houston in Houston earlier this season, so this game could be a lot closer than a lot of people think. I mean, it is being played in Nashville. I wouldn't be surprised, again, given how underwhelming the Texans have been, that Tennessee might actually sneak up and win this. But ultimately, I think I got to have a little more faith in the Texans at this point. Again, Tennessee isn't very good themselves. They can play better, but you're never entirely sure if they would ever play well enough for you to actually pick them. So I'm going to pick Houston to win this one here. They're going to pull away late in the second half like they did last time and win. All right, we'll wrap things up after the break.
When most jeans makers look at women, they see men.
I need jeans with a little more room in the hips.
Why else would they keep trying to sell men's jeans to women?
More snug in the waist.
Well, I like a little looser fit in the thighs.
I need jeans designed for a woman.
At Lee, we make jeans that fit the unique contours of a woman's body. Lee Relax Fit Jeans.
It's not easy to pull yourself away from a bowl of Kellogg's Raisin Bran. But scoops of raisins taste so good, you'll find that once you stop, you can't leave them behind. 'Cause those scoops taste too good to pull yourself away. 2 scoops of raisins, not 1 but 2, means raisins through and through. So those 2 scoops taste too good to pull yourself away. Kellogg's Raisin Bran. 2 scoops.
Retirement home.
It's a leisure village. One free 10-minute call a month, every month for an entire year.
There are lots of people here. I just have to meet them, that's all.
2 free hours of long distance in all.
Well, it's just a friendly game of dominoes.
It's MCI's gift to all friends and family members, even those who join now.
Al, would you believe this? I'm dating.
To accept this gift, call and tell us which member of your circle you'd like to call free. Name each other and get 4 hours free.
Okay, so to wrap things up, I like Georgia over Texas, Ball State over Eastern Michigan, and Georgia Tech over Boston College. Then on the NFL side, I like Buffalo over Tampa Bay, Seattle over the Los Angeles Rams, and Houston over Tennessee. Alright, so the next week is going to be another predictions video. The games we're covering then are Duke versus North Carolina, New Mexico State versus UTEP, and Michigan versus Maryland. Then on the NFL side, we're covering Minnesota versus Green Bay, Indianapolis versus Kansas City, and Jacksonville versus Arizona. We will also be announcing our non-college football bowl lineup that we'll be covering for those games. After that, the next video is going to be the random trade review on the 2003 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic from Dreamwave Studios. And like I said before, that will be the last random trade review for 2025. Due to the high volume of football we'll be covering in December, I'm just probably not going to have time to get around to another comic. And then after that will be the Thanksgiving lineup for games. We're basically just doing all the games that are on Thursday and Friday in the NFL. That's Green Bay versus Detroit, Kansas City versus Dallas, Cincinnati versus Baltimore, and Chicago versus Philadelphia. And then on the college end, we're going to be doing Georgia versus Georgia Tech, Indiana versus Purdue, LSU versus Oklahoma, and Ohio State versus Michigan. Yeah, I did it backwards there because I kind of felt like it. Anyway, so that's basically the lineup for the next few weeks. See you all next time. Hey guys, remember that you can support my work at patreon.com/sleepytimeforcat productions, or just click the link in the description. Also, remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so that you can be made aware of further videos.